more than they ever have. Even the churches become the house of prayer. This next election,
presidential
election is not going to take place, that it's going to be suspended because evil's going to arise and some disasters are going to happen and some things are going to be put in place, and the president's not going to be removed. He's going to stay in, and these things are going to happen, and they're going to be very bad if we don't get a hold of God.
Well, you know, he said 22 times previously that he doesn't have the power to legislate on his own with regard to immigration.
I believe such an indiscriminate approach would be both unwise and unfair. Sometimes when I talk to immigration advocates, you know, they wish I could just bypass Congress and change the law myself. But that's not how democracy works.
The problem is that, you know, I'm the President of the United States. I'm not the Emperor of the United States. My job is to execute laws that are passed.
But the thing is history will treat him unkindly on this if he thinks he can become king.
And now this past week, suddenly he has the authority. Do you know who has the authority to do things like that? Dictators.
The president announced a policy change. He said now that it was proper it was proper for him to have the authority to assassinate an American citizen, even if they have not been charged with anything, if he thought it was necessary.
What you're not paying attention to is the fact that I just took an action to change the law. Now, action to change the law. I just took an action to change the law.
They take you to the FEMA camps being built by Halliburton right now to house 50 million Americans. They're building enough concentration camps in America by Halliburton. Now, if you go out and you find a pink dot on your mailbox, that means that they believe you'll be a good slave and you're going to go along with the program and serve our international Antichrist masters. And that's the problem we have today. This conspiracy is so monstrous, so demonic, that we tell people about it and they say, you're crazy. This is America. It can't happen here.
In June 2013, and the U.S. government has recently purchased 30,000 guillotines. Yes, you see it right there. Now, this was lobbied for by Congress, and it passed. You have to ask yourself if all the beheadings of the Muslims that they're pulling off, well, the Muslims beheading people all across the place, if this isn't to try to desensitize the U.S. for future events, because as the information comes out, it looks like 15,000 are being currently stored in Georgia and 15,000 currently stored in Montana. Now, you need to go and research Rex 84 and get caught up to speed if you haven't for what is going on with the prison camps. Do you see what is going on behind your back? They've got you blinded by the mainstream media. There's also a little list of all the camps that are in each state.
Listen to this, folks.
I was pulled to the side road, which was a new cut gravel dirt road in front of a business, a builder supply business. And the right side of the road was filled with, which I thought was portable toilets. I never looked at them that close. Same in color, maybe black, but which was an odd color. And I asked him about the field of black boxes. What were they? Because I'd never seen anything like that. And his statement was that if he told me, I would be one of few people in Madison, Georgia that knew about them. And he says they're disposable coffins, I believe he told me. And he says there's 100, at that time, he said there was 125,000 there. And he said his brother worked with the CDC in Atlanta and had been asked by the CDC to do a 3-year extension to place temporary morgues all across the nation. As I went back to my home office, I spoke of it there, and of course people usually don't want to hear too much about this kind of thing. So it's never been mentioned, publicly, except just here and there, because most, like I said, the reaction I got, people didn't want to know about it, the few people that I spoke to.
And the brother of the man that owns this field, that the government is leasing this field from to store these disposable coffins, this brother was given 3 years to set up temporary morgues around the country. Now, we found the website that we think these disposable coffins were made at, and we noticed that the lids that they're advertising on the website were rounded. But the lids, hundreds of thousands of lids there, the lids we found, folks, were flat, and they were reinforced. You know what that could mean? You can stack them on top of each other. That's a lot neater to stack them in disposable coffins.
Exclusive government activating FEMA camps across America, across the United States. Sent to us by people in government. I'll just leave it at that. And it's got the 5 regions for the FEMA camps, and it talks about barricades and barbed wire and armed guards, and it says that they've built the camps and that now they need to get ready to staff them, and that they need to be ready within a 72-hour period. And so I want to challenge everybody to call their friends and their families now and realize that the new economy is to put tens of millions of people, we already have the biggest prison population in the world, in this archipelago, this giant chain of facilities all over the country.
They take you to the FEMA camps being built by Halliburton right now to house 50 million Americans. They're building enough concentration camps in America by Halliburton. Now, if you go out and you find a pink dot on your mailbox, that means that they believe you'll be a good slave and you're going to go along with the program and serve our international Antichrist masters. And that's the problem we have today. This conspiracy is so monstrous, so demonic, that we tell people about it and they say, you're crazy. This is America. It can't happen here.
Last thing the men behind the curtain want is a conscious, informed public capable of critical thinking, which is why a continually fraudulent zeitgeist is output via religion, the mass media, and the educational system. They seek to keep you in a distracted, naive bubble. And they are doing a damn good job of it. This is Aaron Russo, a filmmaker and former politician. To his left is Nicholas Rockefeller of the infamous Rockefeller banking and business dynasty. After maintaining a close friendship with Nicholas Rockefeller, Aaron eventually ended the relationship, appalled by what he had learned about the Rockefellers and their ambitions.
I got a call one day from an attorney woman I knew, and she said, would you like to meet one of the Rockefellers? I said, sure, I'd love to. And we became friends, and he began to divulge a lot of things to me. So he said to me one night, he said that there's going to be an event there, and out of that event, you're going to see we're going to go into Afghanistan, so we can run pipelines from the Caspian Sea. We're going to go into Iraq to take the oil and establish a base in the Middle East, and we're going to go into Venezuela and try and get rid of Chavez. And the first 2 they've accomplished. Chavez they didn't accomplish. And they said you're going to see guys going into caves looking for looking for people that they're never going to find. You know, he was laughing about the fact that you have this war on terror. There's no real enemy. He's talking about how by having this war on terror, you can never win it because it's an eternal war. And so you can always keep taking people's liberties away. And I said, how are you going to convince people that this war is real? He said, but the media. The media can convince everybody it's real. I mean, you know, it's just that you keep talking about things. You keep saying it over and over and over again, and eventually people believe it. You know, you created the Federal Reserve in 1913 through lies. You create 9/11, which is another lie. Through 9/11, then you're fighting a war on terror, and now all of a sudden you go into Iraq, which was another lie, and now they're going to do Iran. You know, and it's all one thing leading to another, leading to another, leading to another. Now, I would say, what are you doing this for? What's the point of this thing? You have all the money in the world you ever want. You have all the power. I said, you know, you're hurting people. It's not a good thing. And he would say, what do you care about the people for? Take care of yourself and you take care of your family. And then I said to him, what are the ultimate goals here? He said, the ultimate goal is to get everybody in this world chipped with the RFID chip and have all money be on those chips and everything on those chips. And if anybody wants to protest what we do or violate what we want, we just turn off their chip.
Camps to detain U.S. citizens in the event of unrest. We watch our leaders in Washington slowly pass bills that label ordinary Americans as thought criminals and potential domestic terrorists for simply questioning the actions of their government. We see third-party candidates and their impassioned supporters listed in secret government reports that call their allegiance into question and brand them as fanatics and extremists. FBI and Homeland Security documents classify homeschoolers, gun rights activists, some veterans, and anti-abortionists as threats against the existing social and political order, by default creating an entire nation of radicals and revolutionaries where everyone is a suspect, equally guilty until proven otherwise. And what is the solution to deal with these people? The same way as every other totalitarian regime throughout history: marginalize their activities, then lock them up. Prisons are being built, internment camps constructed, and laws passed that deal severely with anyone who dares to step out of line or ask too many questions. There are approximately over 600 prison camps in the U.S., all fully operational and ready to receive prisoners. They are all staffed and even surrounded by full-time guards, but they are all empty. These camps are to be operated by FEMA should martial law need to be implemented in the United States. The camps all have railroad facilities, as well as roads leading to and from the detention facilities. Many also have an airport nearby. The majority of the camps can house a population of 20,000 prisoners. Currently, the largest of these facilities is just outside Fairbanks, Alaska. The Alaskan facility is a massive mental health camp and can hold approximately 2 million people. One possible FEMA camp has been rumored for years to be at an Amtrak train repair center located in Beech Grove, Indiana. While stories and web videos have attempted to report suspicious activities, the conclusion, when honestly investigated, is that there really is not any internment camp there. Approximately 600 employees work there daily. We uncovered no unusual buildings, equipment, or personnel. Having said that, there are many well-documented camps and prisons that have sprung up around the United States the past decade or so.
I had planned another closing message, but I feel compelled to say what I'm about to say. Now, I risk sounding like a conspiracy theorist, but it's no longer a theory. What I'm about to say is fact. The secret organizations of the world power elite are no longer secret. They have planned and are now leading us into a one-world communist government.
Executive order signed by President Obama has sparked controversy on both sides of the political aisle. The National Defense Resources Preparedness Executive Order was signed quietly Friday night. It gives the president the power to control U.S. resources.
The Rules Committee is going to meet in the House. They are going to come up with a rule that makes it okay for them to do a same-day bill. So they'll pass this rule. It's, believe it or not, called martial law.
This would give the President of the United States the authority to declare basically martial law during times of peace.
There are new disturbing developments out of Washington tonight regarding the President's belief that he has the legal authority to assassinate U.S. citizens. Incredibly enough, it appears that our Commander-in-Chief actually believes that authority exists not only on foreign soil, but right here on American soil as well.
But Senators McCain and Levin have added this legislation which would authorize the President to declare the entire United States of America, all 50 states and all territories, to be a battlefield, even though there's no battle, thanks be to God, going on here.
War on terror is different.
And that would authorize him to use Commander-in-Chief authority in the United States, to use the military to arrest people in the United States who, in the President's opinion, are enemies of the country.
Particularly to hear President Obama claim the power to keep people in prison indefinitely with no charges against them, no conviction, no sentence, just imprisonment.
Joining us now is former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino. Dan, thanks a lot for joining us. What do you mean there's no such thing as gun control, only people control? Tell me what that means.
Tucker, this is larger ideological ploy by this administration. They're not being authentic with America, whether it's the sequester, healthcare, or the gun control issue. What they do is they manipulate an emotional crisis, a national emotional crisis, to further an ideological agenda which involves the evaporation, the slow disintegration of your civil rights, your liberties, your ability to live and let live. And it's a disturbing pattern that, frankly, is really starting to get under my skin.
The US is funneling money into tracking systems that are threatening to make the very concept of privacy a thing of the past. It could mean people's every move being used against them to keep them under surveillance.
The information age was an era nearly everybody embraced. But today's surveillance age, experts say, is a reality almost no one can escape.
David, why does the DHS need 450 million hollow point bullets?
That kind of ammo that they purchased from ATK, hollow point ammunition, as you had explained, it's designed to, tear through human flesh and then expand. It's designed to kill people. This is not the optimal kind of ammo you would buy for target practice. It's more expensive and it's more precise.
Do you think this is a sign that they're preparing for some sort of mass civil unrest?
So they have an open bid right now, DHS, for even more ammunition, for 175 million rounds of .223 caliber rifle ammo. It's almost identical to the ammunition used by NATO peacekeeping forces. So that's very interesting. Are they planning on some kind of widespread economic unrest in the U.S. that would require NATO forces to help us out?
$500 million in surplus military weaponry from the Pentagon.
In other words, the person is still going to have to make a choice themselves. But with all graces, we'll push them. We won't force them. We will push them to make the right decision in favour of God, to be pleasing to God, and so to be saved for eternity instead of damned for eternity. That's a pretty big promise. And it's attached to the 5 first 70s, because that way, with luck, heaven calculates, Catholic souls will get in the habit of making the 5 first 70s, and will make them again and again and again, or make 5 first 70s whenever they can. In any case, every time they make the 5 first 70s, they will be in the habit of applying them to reparation to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Why the reparation? I was saying a little earlier, because our Lord wants his mother to be honoured. She has made tremendous efforts in the last 50, 100 years to save modern souls, save souls going down to hell because of the modern world. She's made tremendous efforts, and broadly speaking, she's been refused. Of course, some souls have always responded to each of her efforts, but broadly speaking, the modern world continues on its wicked way. She has, so to speak, I speak human, so to speak, she has failed. Of course she hasn't, but that's what it looked, humanly speaking, from the point of view of numbers, and from the point of view of results, that's what it looks like. And so our Lord wants reparation to be made. He wants people to realize that what she has been doing, and the reaction that has been from men, that he wants a noble reaction to come from men now to make up for what's been going on for 100 years. Ever since, in particular, the French Revolution. The turning point from the old world to the new world was really the French Revolution, which descended from Protestantism, of course. So it says, and then it goes on. To encourage Catholics to make these communions of reparation, on December 10th of 1925, Our Lady appeared again to one of the children, and she made the following stupendous offer. She said, quote, "Announce in my name, the Mother of God, that I promise to assist at the moment of death with all the graces necessary for salvation, all those who, on the first Saturday of 5 consecutive months, will go to confession, receive Holy Communion, recite 5 decades of the Rosary, and keep me company for 15 minutes while meditating on some or all of the 50 mysteries of the Rosary, with the intention of making reparation to me, Immaculate Heart of Mary." This promise is a virtual guarantee of salvation. The 4 conditions, the confession can be made 8 days before or 8 days after the first Saturday, so long as the Holy Communion is received in the state of grace. If I'm not in the state of grace, I must go to confession before the first Saturday. If I am in the state of grace, I must go to confession before or after.